Hi guys, Prashant here from Measure Marketer, and in this video we'll be learning about how to send some custom data into Facebook, and that will help you make some meaningful and amazing custom audiences. So in this video we're going to discuss something of that sort. So join me as I take you through. Right. So we're going to discuss about everybody who's working with a client, or if you have a business, what happens is you want to track conversions. Yes, conversion tracking is easy, right? Maybe you kind of put this pixel tag or standard event or a custom event to fire on the thank you pages or whatever pages that come after the main important action that is associated with your website is performed. Right. But I want to take it a little forward. I want to take you through the custom coding that we can do and send some amazing data to Facebook. So thereby you can go back into Facebook and create some amazing audiences that you can hyper or laser target these people and run amazing offer campaigns that will drive them into the conversion bucket a little sooner than they're expected to be, right? And I kind of use this very often because this will help me reach my custom audiences or reach my target audiences and drive them into the conversion a little sooner, right? If it takes a duration of 1 month, what it generally does is it might drive them into my conversion bucket in like a week or more than a week, but not so much as compared to without implementing it. So join me as I take you through. You see, this is my contact us form. So what I essentially want to do is whenever people come and fill the form, I get the details. So whenever people fill the form, I can send a conversion event to Facebook saying so and so people have converted, right? Or I can fire a standard event, or I can fire a custom event to Facebook pixel, and thereby I can go to Facebook and I can create an amazing audience. But my intention here is I want to really understand how many people start filling the form and end up not filling it at all. So I really wanted to find at which level they drop off, right? Whether they start filling this and they drop off, whether they start filling name and subject and email and they drop off, right? Sometimes, see, here is a small form, but sometimes when it comes to our bootcamp application, we kind of have a very big application, and we really wanted to track at which part of the form people generally drop off. A lot of people say, Prashant, if your form is bigger, yeah, the kind of people, the kind of applications that you get, are more qualified, but the number of applications will be low, right? But doesn't really matter. As long as we get quality applications, we don't have to follow them and chase them, we're happy. So that is exactly why the kind of application that we have for people who are interested in registering for bootcamp, we have a very solid very big application form, right? Talk about type form. If some people run email marketing campaigns and they send type form, and they create a nice sequential form, right? And type form will give you all this report as to where people dropped off, right? As they're filling the form. If you have 10 questions, maybe people fill 3 forms or 3 answers and then dropped out of the form, right? But here in my case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some JavaScript, right? And I'm also going to use some custom event handlers, and I'm going to show you this information, right? So if you come to my site, I have this site called brandlife.online, and I've already implemented the pixel on my site. So whenever a user comes to my site and goes to any page of my site, the pixel will fire. The pixel is normally set to fire on all pages. I also have a GTM container tag which I'm using to install this pixel. I haven't implemented Google Analytics, right? So I'm only working with pixel for now, right, for this video, right? So join me. So when people come to this page, Facebook got to know that a person came to this page, which is page view. Along with page view, Facebook will take the information as to which page the user navigated to, right? But now there's some actions that people do on the page, and I want them to be captured, and I want them to be sent to Facebook as object parameters along with the Facebook pixel, or a standard event or a custom event. So see how I'm going to do that, right? So see, when I would call this as a form funnel tracking, right? So join me as I take you through. So I right click, I go to inspect. When I go to inspect, you see, okay, let me make it a little big. Yeah, you see, yeah. So this element, which is name form field, has an ID called form fields ID. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it. So for people, just to be very sure, so what I can do is document dot get element by ID. This is syntax. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put that here. One moment. Exact element, yes. Or I can do, what I can do is, if I don't have an ID, maybe I can go and choose something called document.query selector. You can even use document.query selector, but when I'm using query selector, because I'm using the ID, so I'm going to go with hash. Now when I go with that, again it is still getting me, but it's giving me in the form of a array, right? It is a node list and it's an array, so I have to get the first item in the array. So I'm going to go with the index. I'm going to call it. So you see, when I do this, again it is getting this. So if I directly have the id to an element, so I can directly go with document.get element by id and put the id. If you don't have it, you want to use other attributes, then you have to use the css selector reference, and for that I'm using document.query selector all. And you see, wp forms, and then I'm putting 0, right? So I got this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply take this. I'm going to use this to work with my example, right? So let me go to sources, let me create a new snippet. Yeah, so yeah, see, so what I'm going to do is I already right, so I'm creating one, okay, let me do one thing. um, Variable, I'll put field 1. Variable field 1 is equal to, I'm going to put that, okay, what is that? Okay, let me put like this: document dot get get element by id. You see, document dot, I'm not working with MacBook, I'm working with Windows, so kind of getting hard. Document dot get element by id. Yeah, you see. So then once I selected this field 1, to this field 1 is a variable here, and I assigned this element. This is the element that I wanted to get, which is the name 1, right? So I assigned it to a variable called field 1. So now to field 1, what I'm going to do is I am going to apply a event handler. So event handler, listener, this is a syntax, and give the name of the event. So I give the name of the event as click, and name of the event as click, and I call a function. So yeah, so I will say fire 1 and then false, because I don't want this to bubble, right? Or I don't want this event to propagate to the next, the parent element, or the child elements. So I want to stop the event propagation. So I do this: click fire 1, and then no, not required. Why am I doing this? Yeah. So now once it is done, fire 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call that function field, oh, no, fire 1, function fire 1, and I'm going to put e as the value that is passed into the parameter, as a parameter into the function, which is fire 1. So here I'm going to put something called, okay, let me fire null tag before I do that. So I say you um, field 1 entered, means the user entered the field 1. Let's see, field 1 I created, document dot get element alienment by id. Okay, this is the form field. So okay, let me put a semicolon as well, and I'm adding custom event handler, add event listener, event handlers, add event listeners, and I put click fire 1 false, and then I'm calling this function fire 1. I'm passing the e as a parameter, and then alert field 1 entered, right? So see what I'm going to do now. Once I click on this, yes, it worked. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me run this again. So now when I go and click on this, you see it says brand life online says, right? Online says, okay. uh, Give me one moment. You see, field 1 entered. So whenever I click on this, what will happen is it will say field 1 entered, right? So same way, what I can do is, rather than firing this alert tag, I can fire a Facebook custom event and tell Facebook that this person entered the field 1. Same way, when people go to second, I will send a person entered the second field, right? Same way, when people enter the third field, I'll send Facebook the information that these people have entered the third field. So this way, anytime people enter the field, I'm going to send information to Facebook in the form of custom event. And there again, when I go back to Facebook, I go to Facebook Analytics. In Facebook Analytics, there is a nice feature called Facebook Funnels, where you can input the or select the events that you want in order and see the sequence in which where people are getting dropped, right? So firstly, I'm sending an event, so I'll show that as well. So right now I just work with this. So what I'm going to do is, let me go with the okay, let me go with fire one. So instead of this, what I'm going to do is, instead of showing alert, let me put FBQ, right? Because I want to send information to Facebook, and I say track custom, because there's going to be a custom event in Facebook, right? So yeah, so what I'm going to do, track custom, and I'm going to uh, um give the information as FIELD. This is the event name, field one, field one, ENTERED. This is the event name, and along with event, I'm sending an object parameter. The value is, the key is value, and here I will put okay, I don't want to send any value, let it be. So what I'm going to do, FBQ, right? So the moment he clicks on this element, the function will fire. The name of the function is fire one. I don't want the bubbling effect, so I calling the function here fire one, and I pass the event parameter E, and I said track custom field one entered. So this is going to take the information to Facebook. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, okay, so let me refresh this page once. Let me refresh this page once, right? Run this. Only page view went, right? So when I click on this, let's see what happens. Oh, it is not sent. One moment, there's something wrong here. FBQ track custom field one entered. Or maybe I'll put set timeout. Let's do one thing. I'll use a set timeout function. FBQ track custom. FBQ track custom. Okay, I have to put this also in the form of, yeah. So when I put function is closed, and I put the timeout, and I put, hold on, done. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, you see, I'm using the custom event handlers. Okay, and this information is going to be sent to Facebook. I wait for the page to load. Click on this. You see, when page loaded, page view was sent. Now, when I click on this, you see what will happen. You see, field one is sent to Facebook. Now, when I go back to Facebook, in Facebook, I can go and find an event whose event name is field one entered. Similarly, I can do it for field two. Back to sources. Similarly, I can do it for the third one as well. I'll show you some amazing stuff. Just bear with me. Right, these three. Yeah. So I'm going to replicate the same thing here. The same function I'm going to replicate here. Right now, see, um, when the first click happens, the I am adding for field one, and second event listener I'm adding event handler I'm adding for field two, and then field three. You see? Yes, exact one. Let me do that. Click is there. Yes, event listener is there. Instead of fire one, I'll put fire two. Here I'll put fire three. Right. So here I am running fire two function. Here I'll do the fire three function. Track custom instead of custom. Here you are sending um, field one entered. Here I will say field two entered. Field three entered. I'm using a set timeout also because I don't want to send immediately. Now you see, I'll refresh the page again, guys. Refresh the page. Now you see only page view is fired. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this script. Generally I don't run it here. You have to put this in the custom HTML tag in Facebook. So this acts as a listener function. So whenever page loads and whenever people click on this particular element that we have selected using the document dot get element by ID, and this event listener will be added to that particular document, and whenever an event occurs, what event, click event on these three elements, and this function will fire. When you click on this particular element, the fire one function will run. Fire one, you see, fire one. When you click on the second element, fire two, fire three, and I'm calling those functions for each one of them. And along with the functions, I'm in the function I put a set timeout because I don't want the Facebook pixel to fire, sorry, event to fire, custom event to fire immediately. I want the Facebook custom event to fire maybe after 4 seconds. Now you see, I have already run this, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see, now see again, page view is fired. Now if I click on this, okay, now if I click on this, now if I click on this, now you wait. Field one entered, field two entered, field three entered. All this information was sent to Facebook. Now I can go back to Facebook. In Facebook, what I can do, I can find these events in, if you want to debug these events, you can go to event debugger in Facebook, or in the Facebook analytics of Facebook pixel place, or you can go to Facebook analytics. In the Facebook analytics, you have something called funnels. There, when you create a funnel, you put these three events one after the other, so it will give you the live visual report in which how many people entered the first field and how many people moved on to entering the second field and how many of them eventually entered the third field, right? So this is how you can see, but this is the very basic. I want to make it a little more complex. So what I'm going to do is, rather than I'll make it click here, and instead of 4 seconds, let me put it 7 seconds. So for all of them, I'll put 7 seconds. Okay, so let's see what I'm going to do. 7 seconds. Now here we are only passing the parameters. You're only passing the event, the custom event. But along with custom event, what you can do is you can send some amazing data in the form of object parameters, right? So all you have to do is include that object in the Facebook pixel event, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one moment. I'm going to add one. I'll put value, and in place of value, I'll put e dot, which is the parameter that was passed into the function, e dot target dot value. right? Yeah, e dot target dot value. Wonderful. So here also what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, uh, add an object called value, and here e dot target dot value, right? So here also same, I'm going to put that same stuff. So all you have to understand is you need to understand a little bit of JavaScript, or a good level of JavaScript understanding, and how to use this event handlers, HTML event handlers. So I'm sending object parameters. The key is value, and in here again I'm sending the e as a parameter, so I want to call that, and the event type, which means, right, and I want to say event dot target dot value. Now you see, I want to be very very sure that everything is perfect, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to refresh this page. I'm going to refresh this page, guys. Now see only pixel is fired, right? Now see what is going to happen. Earlier we were only sending the custom event and the name of the event, name of the custom event. Now I'm sending object parameters along with that pixel, right? Oh, I made a small mistake, right? Only this one fired. So let me go and refresh this thing again. Now you see, name I will type Prashant. I will type interested. I will say pj at gmail.com. Now you see, go to pixel. First event was fired and the Prashant was sent. Second event fired, I am interested was sent. Third event fired, PJ was sent. Right? But remember, whenever you send information, you make sure that you're not sending any personally identifiable information, or if you're doing it, you hash it. Or if you're sending Facebook, the email address or the phone number of the people, what you can do is you can use that Facebook's advanced matching systems parameters that Facebook tells us: FN first name, LN last name, EM email address, or ph, right? So this way what you can do is you can even send this particularly useful. For example, I'll tell you, right, if somebody comes to my site measuremarketer.com and come to a page called start application, measuremarketer.com/application, right? So meanwhile, let that page load. So but I hope you're able to understand. So what I'm doing is, first, whenever people click on this, I send an information to Facebook. Whenever people click on this, I send a custom event to Facebook saying he entered the second field. When he entered the third field, I sent a custom event to Facebook that he entered the third one. So this way I can go set up a funnel in Facebook with all the events and see the number of people who drop off from second, who drop off from third. And this way you can understand whether your form is driving people to submit the form, or people are dropping off midway without filling the form after actually starting to fill the form, right? That was the first stuff. And second stuff, what I've done is I even showed you a way how you can send the information that people enter here. See, again, I'm telling you, you don't have to send any personally identifiable information. This is particularly important if you're working with a website where you have drop downs. If you have a drop down, what you can do is, whenever people select a drop down, see, in our case, what can we can do is, whenever people come to our site, we have to fill the application form. We don't want to send the information, but what we can do is, whenever people select any of them, we want to send an event to Facebook. Why? Later I can go back to Facebook, I can create an audience in Facebook, custom audience in Facebook, saying, hey Facebook, create an audience of only those people who selected from my form, market your startup. And then I can create a lookalike audience from that audience, which is the most powerful. See, the real effectiveness of Facebook campaigns comes into force when you use the custom audiences feature. But custom audiences you create for any random audiences, that is going to drive nothing. But when you have a amazing custom audiences and hyper targeted custom audiences, and you tell Facebook to create a lookalike audiences from the custom audiences, which is very very targeted, then trust me, the sales and the campaigns will drive so much of revenue or so much of ROIs. all right. So and you don't have to only use this feature. What I can do is, maybe, Prashant, why should I use set timeout feature? I don't want to use them. Okay, so it's okay. So you can simply remove the set timeout feature. I'll remove the set timeout feature you see here. Set timeout is just to make sure, because the moment people click, I don't want to send, because the moment people click and enter, it takes like 7 seconds. So I want to wait until 7 seconds from the click, right, and then capture the value and send them to Facebook. I don't want to send the information to Facebook the moment people click, because people click, I only know that they clicked, but I don't know the value they entered. So that is why I'm using a custom set timeout method or function, right? So here I'm trying to use, what if I don't want to use this right? So instead of this click, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use something called focus out. I'm going to refresh the page again. So see, whenever the page refreshes, what is happening? Only page we sent, right? So I'm going to fire this on the page. Now I'll say, Prashant, subject is, I am learning FB at, email is measuremarketer@gmail.com. See what will happen. The moment focus out is left, the value is sent. Right, so this is how you can create amazing audiences, right? You can probably use any HTML event, right? Because these events will help you capture those most important action that people do on the document, on the on the front end, right? So yeah, so if you have any questions, or if you want to share with us as to how or what kind of amazing audiences you create based on the user's activity on the website, please do share with me in the comment section. Or if you want to know more about what we do here at Measure Marketer, write to me, Prashant at measuremarketer.com. I'd be more than interested to share insights. We live and breathe on ad tech and marketing technology every day, and we're so excited, you know, about the new cohorts that we started. So if you wanted to really learn something of this sort, amazing measurement marketing skills, then please do check out our measurement and marketing bootcamp. And trust me, 70% of the people who enroll into this bootcamp are experienced marketers. We don't teach you anything basics. We teach you something beyond, in something that people with 10 years of experience cannot even implement or cannot even understand, right? If you really frustrated, underperforming, you're still working with that 50, 20,000 salaries, and not able to drive successful campaigns, scared of your career, upskill yourself, trust me, measurement bootcamp is the place for you. And I will see you again with another video, exciting video. So stay connected, and if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe. There's some amazing content on YouTube, and again, next coming weeks we're going to post some amazing content on Facebook. Thank you so much, and see you soon. Thank you.